for the second day of this FDP on RF circuits and antennas. Today we have a theoretical as well as the hands-on session on ADS. So I request Professor Vivek Ratnaparki to for the further proceeding. Sir, please.
Thank you, Praveen sir. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
And you are able to see the presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So good afternoon to all of the participants. In our yesterday's discussion, you all have been introduced to the topic of radio frequency. There are certain limitations of radio frequency design, which we have tried to cover up in a brief, right from voltage and current measurement avoidance. Gradually, we have discussed some of the concepts related to the wave propagation, reflection coefficient, VSWR, return loss, and the set of parameters for any two-port network, which we generally used at high frequency. Those are scattering parameters. And what is the expected values for all these scattering parameters we have tried to discuss. We also thrown some light to the important concept, or you can say important tool of any RF circuit designer, which is a Smith chart. And during our discussion, we also tried to demonstrate some of the simulations with the help of advanced design system software. For today's session, first half, almost 30 to 40 minutes, we will be talking about the flow of this particular software, so that you will be very comfortably start designing different circuits using this powerful RF tool. The second half of today's session will be a completely hands-on discussion and hands-on exposure to all participants. So I request you to keep your systems ready. Once we will finish out our initial discussion on the ADS, you all have to do certain lab exercises which will give you enough practice before we actually start designing any particular circuit component related to the RF. While doing some lab exercises, we will also try to use different calculators which are available freely on the internet. At the same time, we will also try to understand the bits and pieces of the RF circuit design which one should keep in mind before starting doing any design in this particular area. So with this brief about our today's plan, let me start with the introduction to ADS. ADS stands for Advanced Design System, which can cater all needs of RF industry, right from device modeling, MMIC or RFIC design, different RF board designs, or different RF modules can be designed, and the tool can also be used for verification. So when you have to go for MMIC or RFIC design, you have to have the process design kit, which should be supported by a specific foundry. So those PDKs has to be imported to ADS, and you can go ahead with your IC design at high frequency. In short, ADS will not only support to passive components and circuits, including antennas, planar antennas, but also it can be used to design and simulate, as well as it can be used to analyze active components and circuits, including MMIC design and RF board design, or even RF system design. Moreover, this tool can be integrated with the, since this is the product of HP, later on it is Agilent, it is being called as Agilent. In the year, I will show that slide, so you will come to know that why there are different names to the same vendor. Keysight, and very recently it is become Pathwave. So Keysight is nowadays, or Agilent is very popular name. So this software is actually a product of Agilent, and they have their set of instruments in the market for RF characterization. So what I mean to tell you that these softwares, or particularly ADS, can talk to network analyzer. So there is very good feature available in the Agilent's network analyzers. You can integrate your ADS tool with the network analyzer. So this is the most important advantage we get if we have hardware and software made by a same vendor, or you can say a same manufacturer in that way. So the generalized statement, if you are an engineer and have anything to do with circuit simulation, particularly at high frequency, or even some electromagnetic simulations you have to carry out, this is a tool you will probably encounter at some time in your career. It may be your circuit requirement, it may be your PCB related project, maybe planar antennas, or you may have IC or system requirement. This software can fulfill all your needs, and most of the jobs related to, or most of the circuit design related to RF can be carried out by using ADS. So brief history about the company. The Hewlett Packard, which is actually at the start, it was the name HP, and then before it is called as Agilent, and it has got very renowned name in the worldwide market of RF. They have their own instrument setup, right from signal generator, oscilloscopes, spectrum analyzers, network analyzers, PNAs, that is very sophisticated series of network analyzers, ENA. So all these instruments are highly in demand in all academic institutions around the world, and research labs carrying out work in the field of RF and microwaves. Since 2014, the group of electronic softwares and electronic instruments is being separated from Agilent, and separate entity now, or that company is named as Keysight Technologies. Very recently, some time back, now this Keysight is again had got lot of opportunities and many more customers to serve requirements of market and different customers. Again, they have created a small group called as a Pathwave, which is actually a new design and test platform of software from the Keysight Technologies. So don't wonder if you see, you visit the website of Keysight and you see the name over there, PathWave. Many participants have downloaded their ADS 2019 and they might have seen the word PathWave. So this is nothing but a new design and test platform created by Keysight Technologies only. So what are the different simulators available in ADS? You can do DC simulations. For example, some of you were asking me about microwave amplifiers. So we should start with the DC analysis of amplifier. We must decide what is the operating point of that amplifier, and later it will decide the class of that particular amplifier if it is a power amplifier. So to determine the proper operating point, we should carry out the DC analysis. So that simulator is available. In some cases, we have to carry out the AC analysis, which used for obtaining small signal transfer parameters such as voltage, current gains, even noise voltages and currents. So this simulator is also inbuilt in ADS. The most popular simulator, which we will be utilizing many a times throughout our training program, is scattering parameter simulator. So I have demonstrated some of the S parameter simulations in previous day session, and today even, and during coming days and coming sessions, we will be using most of the time S parameter simulations. Because now you know that why S parameters are so popular. So most of the designs and most of the analysis can be carried out with the help of S parameter controllers only. They can be used for different circuits, maybe amplifiers, filters, mixers, even your antennas, and up to certain extent in nonlinear blocks such as your power amplifiers, because power amplifier is basically a nonlinear block or a nonlinear circuit. So there are different types of S parameters. We have a small signal S parameter. We have a large signal S parameter simulation, which is inbuilt in ADS also. So I'm not going in much details of all these simulators, but they will be there inside the ADS. I'll be just naming some of them. Then very, very important simulator for power amplifier people or mixer kind of a designers, which is HB simulator, harmonic balance, which actually uses a nonlinear harmonic balance techniques to find the steady state solution in frequency domain. Over the frequency, let us say you will be designing a nonlinear circuit. Let us take a case of power amplifier. Your design frequency may be 1 gigahertz, but you have to take care of its harmonics. Its fundamental frequency is 1 gigahertz. So second harmonic will be 2 gigahertz. Third harmonic will be 3. Fourth will be 4, and so on and so forth. So at least up to fifth harmonic, we have to consider how the power flow is there, and the main goal of power amplifier designer is to that minimize the amount of power at harmonics of that fundamental frequency. So as maximum as possible should be there at the design frequency, and ideally there should be no any power wasting in its harmonics. So that way this harmonic balance is very, very important tool for nonlinear circuit designers. Then we have a transient simulator, which actually solves the nonlinear circuits in the time domain. And I remember during our demo session, one of our participants were eager to understand whether there are instruments in this particular software. So in today's session, we will come across this transient simulator, which will be able to draw the different transient responses related to your circuit. Apart from these 5 simulators, there are many other simulators available in ADS. As I said, LSSP is a large signal S parameter, because in case of power amplifiers, you are giving input to your amplifier as much as possible, and you are expecting output power has to be as much as possible. So in those cases, small signal S parameters will not be valid. So LSSP simulation has to be carried out. Or in other words, you can get the nonlinear model of that particular transistor and do the analysis, which is actually a nonlinear analysis of your power amplifier. Then P2D simulator, XDB, which is a you can say invention of Keysights, which is available in this particular tool. Whenever we have to go for compression, because if it is a nonlinear, then you have to find out up to what is the compression level of that amplifier. Is it a 1 dB compression? Is it a 2 dB compression, 3 dB compression? So that time this compression simulator can be used. Then later on we have RF circuit envelope and RF system budget analysis, and other simulators are also available. So just to tell you about brief, so I was talking about this XDB, and there is one also what I said, the invention of Keysight is the set of parameters. I will come to that point later on. So depending on the circuit or component or maybe a system, so different simulators you have to require are shown on this slide. If you are doing a filter, many a times S parameter will is sufficient, but if you have to go for DC and AC, that is also possible. You can go for the filter with DC and AC analysis. If it is a mixer, then certainly it is a nonlinear, so HB simulator will require. And depending on your design, different simulators has to be used for mixer. For PA case, right from your biasing bias point, you have to use DC, AC, S parameter, HB, gain compression, LSSP, transient and envelope simulators. So most of the simulators being used in power amplifier, you can get a feel that doing power amplifier design is not a little bit complicated task, because you have to use many simulators and it is a little cumbersome process. So the main objective during our microwave amplifier session will start with the basics of amplifier. We'll try to go for maximum gain and specified gain amplifiers, and most of the remaining time will devote to understand design of low noise amplifier, and we will wind up with the design of high power amplifier, solid state high power amplifiers. Oscillators will also use S parameter, HB and envelope. Even DC can be used, DC simulator. For PLL kind of a things, envelope simulator is sufficient. And for complete transceiver, DC, AC, HB, envelope and budget simulators are useful. So this is the slide which is actually starting to tell you about how you can start with the ADS. And this slide is named as ABCs of ADS. So first A is your main window. B is the window where you will be doing design, schematic window, or perhaps a layout window, depending on the design you will be carrying out. And the C will be the data display window. So the flow is that first you will be coming to the main window, wherein you can create workspaces. You will create a library related to that workspace. And once you have created your main workspace, under that main workspace, you will have a schematic window. And once you created your schematic, it may be a circuit schematic or a layout. Then you have to simulate this and you will get the result in another window called as a DDS, data display set, or data display window. So this is how the flow. So next 10 minutes, I'll be telling you about how you can create a workspace. Inside the workspace, how you can create or import different libraries. later on the main part, how you can create any schematic or a layout, and how you can able to simulate the circuit and see the results. So this is the flow. So A is the main window. So you all of you have installed ADS and configured your license file. Once you go to the start button and click on ADS icon, so this main window will pop up. So inside the main window, you can go to the getting started, which is written as a step 1. Then in step 2, you have to click this particular icon to view current working directory, and this will appears only when file view tab is active. Then step 3 is we have to click this icon, which is actually W plus. So that icon will create a new workspace in ADS. So remember the important statement. These are the commands. If you can see over here, these all are the commands, and below that we have icons. So in ADS, for every icon there is a command. Means if you will be using this icon to create a new workspace, there will be command to do that task also. So in ADS, for every icon there will be a command, but there will not be an icon created for every command. So otherwise is not true. All right. So as you progress in doing your hands-on sessions, you will come to know that all these things. Once you create on a new workspace, it will ask you to give the name of your workspace. By default, it will be my quick start or my workspace kind of a thing. It will created in a default library which you have used to install your ADS, or anyways you can change the place also if you wanted to keep it at some another place. You can leave the things as it is by default, and you can go ahead since it will be your first workspace. Then click on next, and it will have the different library options. By default, analog RF library and demo kit nonlinear library will be selected. Depending on your requirement, you can check or uncheck the libraries. And this feature was there up to ADS 2016, but now 2018 onwards, this feature is being hidden. Somewhere around 2017 or 18, this feature is now hidden. I will show you actually because we will be using 2019. So where these options are available. So I will let you know one by one. Then once you give the library name, by default library name will be similar to that of your workspace name. Since your workspace was my quick start, so library will have the same name. Then you can define the technology. Now updated versions, whenever you will be creating any layout, that time only you need to design the decide the technology. So it will appear at the time of creating new cell for a layout. Otherwise it will not appear in this 2019 version, and you have to simply click on a finish. So this is a wizard. Actually it is called as a new workspace wizard, will guide you to create your new workspace. Okay, so the same thing now I will try to demonstrate using ADS. Only one step I have explained through PPT, and now I will demonstrate through ADS. So I have created icon on the desktop screen. I will double click on this. You may be there is a small window may pop up on your screen because you may be using it first time. You can switch it off. Getting started window. There will be a small box at the bottom. You check it and do not show again option is there. You can check it. So next time when you start ADS, it won't appear. Okay. There will be one more window maybe coming up, that is the recent workspaces you have created and visited. That window can be checked or unchecked at any time. So this is available in options, preferences, enable the get started window. I kept it unchecked. By default, it is checked. So if you will be starting your ADS, so you can uncheck it always. So next time, if you start your ADS, the simple main window will appear in front of you. So we have just started ADS and I will tell you the step 1A, step A. So this is create a new workspace icon, or the same thing can be done by using file, new workspace. So remember, when you have not created any workspace in ADS, so all these library schematic and all these commands are disabled. Okay, the moment you create new workspace, all these commands will become enabled. So I will demonstrate that also. So you can go to the file, new workspace. This is command option, or you can simply click on this. So it will create a new workspace wizard for you. So by default, I will keep this my first. Or okay. So this is the name how we can give. It depends on your liking and your project. You can assign name to your workspace. And it will be created by default the path which I have given at the time of installation of ADS. I can always change this path by doing a click here, the three small dots appearing in front of this create in window, and I can give the separate path of any specified folder. Then the thing which is now hidden is show advanced. So this is the thing, the technology interoperability and this layout technology, MILS, or any other unit you want to use, that option you can now check from this box, and libraries you can simply check from this side. Now you see by default analog RF and DSP libraries are checked, but if you don't require these libraries, you can remove or add any other library. It may not be appearing in your ADS because you have not yet used those inbuilt libraries. So don't bother about it. At least you will be able to see these ADS libraries and site libraries when you first time start your ADS. So depending on your requirement, you can check or uncheck the libraries. We'll talk more about the libraries, how we can import the libraries inside the workspace, which are actually available in ADS. And even if some component is not available in ADS, how we can import it to the ADS, that we will be also going to discuss as we progress. So once you do this thing, you simply click on create workspace and you will see now under the folder view, you have my first RF work is your workspace. So underscore work is the extension there for all your workspaces inside the ADS. So whatever designs you will be doing in this my first RF work will be named by this folder. If we click on library view, so you see that the library has also got the same name, my first RF. This is the library name. So you can always add libraries here. The data display windows and data sets will be added over here once you do some work. So this is how you can create new workspace. So this is A of our ADS. Now we'll switch back to presentation and try to understand what is B. So B is the thing once you have done your main workspace is created. Now you are ready to make your circuit. So the first thing is you have to click on the icon which is their schematic icon or maybe a layout icon. All right, then you can select the palette from here. You can select the palette set of components depending on your requirement. Likewise, and you will be getting a different component palettes. Select the component of your requirement and drag and drop to the drawing area. Okay, so just you have to go to the window, new schematic. There is again icon as well as command, and you can simply select the component palette and you get the components of your interest to the drawing area. Then you rotate the components as per your requirement, connect them using the wires, make them grounded, and you can now save your design, and you are just bit away from your simulation. You have to use any controller for S parameter simulation. You have to get the terminations. Again, these terminations will come from the set of palettes. So we have to select a proper set of palettes, simulation S parameter, get the two terminations, connect them in proper way, get the simulator, which is S parameter simulator, decide the start, stop and step frequencies depending on your design, and now save it and everything is ready for simulation. So click on the gear icon. This is also possible. You can use the F7 key of your keyboard and do the simulation. Once you click on this simulation, the ADS will simulate over these frequency in these step sizes for your circuit, and it will be pop up the window called as a data display window to see the results of your circuit. So again, as we have done for A, we will try to do it for B. But before proceed, I will just tell you what I had said before some time. If you have not created any workspace, all these commands were disabled. Now all these commands are enabled since we have created a new workspace, My First RF. So to demonstrate you B part of ADS, either as you had two options to create a new workspace, you may have used this icon or you may have used this command. Similarly, to create the first schematic inside this workspace, you can use this icon, or you can go to window and new schematic window. So this is command for new schematic, or even you have option Control Shift N. This is for schematic, and Control Shift A if you are directly wanted to work on a layout. Maybe when we will be doing antennas, will directly jump to the layout. So it is convenient to start with some circuit simulations. So I'll use this icon. I will click a new schematic. So new schematic wizard will pop up. By default name will be cell 1. So let it be cell 1. It will be stored in library, which is the workspace library, My First RF. Okay. You can change if you have different cells, you can change over here. Once we have multiple cells, I will let you know. If you click on show advanced, there are three different options. At the start, you can have option of insert template, run the schematic wizard, or you can go with the blank schematic, which is by default option. So simply let it be a cell 1 blank schematic and click on create schematic. So once you click on a create schematic, there will be a drawing area in front of you, and by default now the earlier library which I have used from your palettes, it was simulation S parameter. So in your case it may be basic components or maybe lumped components. Okay. So once you have this drawing area and a schematic window in front of you, you can simply select any component, click on that component and move your cursor to the drawing area and one more click. So this way you can drag and drop the components. S button on your keyboard can be used to remove that component which is being attached to your cursor. The component which you expect next may be a capacitor. So select or click on it, move it and paste to the drawing area. Simply click will do that. Now again S and it will delete. Now select this component. You wanted to rotate it. So you simply select that component, use Control plus R. That is one way. Or again, you can use the command to rotate this also. But Control R will be quite popular. The next important thing, which is about changing the values of components. So there are two ways. First way, you have to double click on this. So edit instance parameters window will appear. You can change the value from here. This is one way. You can change the units in front of it. Or another way, you just click on the value which is already there on the schematic. So it will be highlighted and you can change it. All right. This is one way. Then you have to make it complete. So you can just use the S parameter controllers from here, simulation S parameters, take the palette and terminations. Simply drag and drop over here in the drawing area and connect all of them. You can use this insert wire. From here, this is the icon and here you have a command. So select this and connect all these red small squares. If it is connected properly, the color of that red will disappear and it will be a small solid blue box. Now we have to ground it. So we have icon insert ground icon or insert ground command. So now onwards I will be not going into the details of commands. I will be using the available icons to save the time. So this is what you can change the frequencies, start stop frequencies as per your interest, and you have done with the B. The important thing which one has to keep, please.
Sir, how to insert this S parameter? Sir, please explain again.
Okay, so how to insert this S parameter? You have this component palette side.
Yes, sir, it's showing basic components.
So you just have to go down all palettes. You have to go down. There will be simulation S parameter. Simulation S param.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is there. And you have to take the first gear icon is there written SP. Okay. So
yes,
that is
sir.
your
Got it, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
so
you, sir.
Thank you. So my humble request to all of you, please now just concentrate on the demonstration which I will be trying to demonstrate over here, and this will greatly help you when you actually start your hands-on session. Please do not start your hands-on sessions. If you have some kind of exposure to ADS earlier, if you have used it, then no matter, you need not to wait for it. But those who are very new to ADS, they have not used it earlier. So my humble request to please focus 10 more minutes of a time, maximum 10 minutes more time, because most of the features which I will be letting you know through this session will be very, very useful for our coming sessions. I'll be telling you about how we can drag and drop the components, how we can change the orientation, how we can change the different palettes, and even I'll be letting you know how you can change many things inside the data display window, and even we will be talking about the tuning, how you can tune your circuit. So that is, I think, that is very important. Okay, so coming back to our presentation, we have done with this. Okay, yeah, I was telling something about the most important thing which we have to note is that if you look carefully at the top of this window, you will find the cell 1. What is cell 1? Cell 1 is the name of our first schematic, and we have created this cell 1 inside the workspace name my first RF. That was the workspace name, and that was also a library name. By default, the workspace and library name will be same. You can have different workspace name and different library name, but it is more convenient to use same workspace and library name. Then we have the cell 1, which is a schematic, and it is now asterisk is there, which indicates that you have not yet saved your schematic. The moment I click on a save button, it will disappear. Okay, so I click on this icon of save, so that asterisk has been disappeared. So this is indication to RF users or ADS users, you have not saved your work. Once I have saved it, now it is time to simulate it. So before we do that, we'll see the simulation. Once you click on that gear icon, a data display window will come up, and you have to select any desired fashion or any desired you can say plot, or maybe a list or a Smith chart, or in short it will be a palette to plot the result of your schematic, or even it may be a result of your layout. So if you select it and place into the plain area of a result, then you have to select the things which you have to plot. If it is a simple S parameter, so you can get all these S parameters, click on add, select the unit of as per your interest and click OK. So you will get the result in that fashion. Okay, so this is very useful window called as a data display window, and there are a lot of features in data display window. As I was telling you, we can insert marker, we can change the format of our result, maybe on x-axis, maybe on y-axis. We can have multiple parameters can be plotted on the same window, maybe S21, S11. Again, you can plot S22, S12, or you can plot two things on right x-axis, right y-axis, and two parameters on left y-axis. That is also possible. So we will do this as we proceed in our sessions. You can change the trace properties depending on your requirement. You can make it little thicker, you can change its color, you can make it solid or dash curve. So there are a lot of options in this data display window to make your result more and more what we can say analyzable, or more the way you would like to display it. Okay, so there are a lot of options in this data display window. So I will just try to tell you how we can do this in ADS. So I have done this simple circuit. I will just make it 1 nanohenry by default, 1 puff, and I will simulate this. I will click on save and simulate. So the engine will run and you will have this data display window, and the data display window will have the name which is same to that of your cell name, the first cell. It is not the name of same to that of your workspace name. It is similar to that of your first schematic which you have created. So that is cell 1. Now I will simply pick this rectangular plot. However, I have different options: polar, Smith. I can have list, which I have shown during my previous session. I can write my own equations. For amplifier designers, this is very useful stuff. So I will demonstrate about this. Then you can have different polygons, rectangles, circles to be used with your result. So I'll just take a simple plot, which is a rectangular one, and I will place it in the center area. I will select S11 dB. Okay, I have to double click on this dB and I will click OK. So if I have clicked OK, so the curve of S11 is this. So don't bother about the response of S11 because we have not designed anything. Our intention was to just see the response of a particular filter. Now, if you wanted to add one more parameter on this result, you can simply double click here and plot traces and attributes window will pop up. You can select S21, add, again unit dB. You can change it also, by the way, keep it dB. Okay. So now you have got this S21. If you don't like to always change the thickness of this, you can go to the options, preferences, and by default it is 0.5. Make it 2, apply. Now next time when you try to plot any graph, it will come up with the thickness of 2. All right. So this is way how you can do the simulations, and this is a fit icon. So it will fit your result or maybe a schematic. This is again available in our schematic window. So you can fit it over there also. Now, how to insert a marker, which is very, very important kind of a thing. Again, asterisk is there. You can just click on this save. So it will disappear. You can get a new marker. So simply you can place it at the point of your interest. So it will read out for you frequency and value of that particular trace at this frequency. So it is a S21 trace and its value is -5 at 8 gigahertz. Similarly, you can take a next marker and place at S11. So it will read S11 for you. It may be the case that you would like to read out both the parameters with a single marker at single frequency. So in that case, you can go to marker and use a line marker. So if you place a line marker, so what it will does, it will read out S11 as well as S22 at that single frequency. Now as if I am moving by arrow keys on my keyboard, you can see that it is moving by 1 gigahertz. But I wanted to move the marker, let us say by 1 megahertz. So that is because I have used the step size of 1 gig. So I'll make it 1 megahertz and re-simulate it. And next time if I move it, and even you might have seen this or observed this, the smooth curve is now smoother and smoother because now we have more number of data points. So this is the being a undergraduate student or beginner in any tool, we never bother about the step size, and that won't make our result quite good. So it depends. It require a little more amount of a time, but it is not the case with our simple circuits. But if you go for EM simulations, in that case, if your range is little wider and you have a smaller step sizes or number of points, we used to call it as, so the people who have used CST or ADS, HFSS or even ADS for high frequency and longer range of simulations of electromagnetic, they might have given a task to their tool while leaving their office at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and the tool will do the simulation overnight, and when they come next day morning 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, their job might have done. So this is the case. You will be wondering if I say that we have some of the hands-on sessions which actually takes the time for simulation 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes just for one electromagnetic simulation. So it depends on how you are going to assign tasks to your simulator and how many number of points you are asking. Okay, so that is very, very important concept when we will be going to electromagnetic simulation. Now if I select the line marker or maybe a simple marker, and if I move it by arrow keys, you can see this. Now it is moving by 1 megahertz. Okay, so this is how we can see the third one, which is C option of data display window. Okay, so just to review this, we have to create first we have to create a workspace by opening ADS inside the main window. We have to create the libraries and files required to use under that workspace. Then we have second option is a schematic window, or you can create your layout also. So it will design, capture and setting up your circuit for simulation. And the third is data display window, which will be used to plot and list simulation results, including equations operating on data. So exit is another way how we can quit the ADS. So at this point, I don't want to quit it. So using the workspace, now I will just in a flow, I will just try to revise all these things once again. So those who have missed their concentration, now they can pay attention. Once again, I will be doing a new workspace. I will be drawing one schematic, setting up a simulation. I will plot the data, and at this time, I will demonstrate how tuning can be done. So all these things I'll be trying to do over this filter. So you can also note down at your end just to remember these things. During the break you can try this, but I will be doing this circuit. So this is a 9.131 nanohenry inductor in series, and we have 3.284 puff shunt capacitors, and we have a terminations, and we'll simulate this over 0 to 5 gig in step of 100 megahertz. Okay, and this is actually a low pass filter with 1 gigahertz of a cutoff frequency. So the same workspace which I have created, I'll be modifying it. So I'll just file and exit. I will exit ADS, and right from scratch I'll be trying to demonstrate you how we can create a new workspace. So simply come to the icon which you have created at the desktop, double click, and you can have a new workspace, or if you have already created a workspace, which is what my first RF work, I can select in this way also, and select a folder which is of my interest. Okay, so it is created. Once again, those who would like to see the demonstration of how we can create a new workspace, I will demonstrate it once again. So new workspace, give the name as per your interest, maybe my LPF, my first work, whatever you would like to assign, and simply click on create workspace. So it will create workspace for you. It is very simple, but I have already created my first work, so I can select it in this fashion, select a folder. So it will take me to the main window. I can click on new schematic window. Now because I have already created a cell 1, so this time it will ask cell 2, and if you come here this time, now it is showing you cell 1 also. The same window you can open again. Okay, so I don't want to create it. I have already created a cell, and I will come to the schematic which I have already created. Now one more capacitor I will take into the shunt. So how we can get these things? So I will remove everything from this drawing area. So first you can select the lump components, or even you can select the basic components. Okay, so RLC will be there in lump as well as basic components. So let it be lump components. You can get inductor, which has to be in series. Then capacitor, select it and place it. Select the capacitor, Control R. Okay. Now change the value of capacitor. Simply click on its value. What was it? It was 3.284 of. Control C, Control V will work. So that will heavily reduce our time in larger drawings. This inductor is of having value 9.139 nanohenry. Now we have to go to the palettes, select simulation as parameters, palette simulation as parameters. First you take the controller, which is SP gear icon, copy, just select and paste it in the drawing area. Now get the two terminations for your filter, termination 1 and termination 2, or you can call it as a port 1 and port 2. Okay, so I'll take this little. Now use the wire and connect them all together. Oops. Okay, don't forget to ground. Now this is your port 1 and this is your port 2, both having impedances of same value 50 ohm. So this is the generalized case for any filters. And now we would like to simulate this filter over 0 to 5 gig in step of 100 megahertz. If you find difficulty in changing the values on top itself, you can simply double click over here and easily you can change the values using this windows. Okay, so everything is ready for simulation now. You save it and simulate. So gear icon, it will be simulated, and by default, because we have plotted this thing earlier, so I will remove everything. The blank window will be there. I will take the rectangular plot, and first I will plot S21 because that will give me an idea about the cutoff frequency of this low pass filter. Okay, so you can see that now you simply place a marker. Since it is a 1 gigahertz, so I will place at 1 gigahertz. So it is minus 0.1 dB of insertion loss at the cutoff frequency. And you can also, what is the roll off rate at 2 gigahertz? You can say that minus 12 dB at 2 gigahertz. All right. So that is how you can plot the S21. Now you double click on this graph and add one more parameter, which is S11. So it will also appear, and you will see that S11 is very poor beyond, right from 1 gigahertz, beyond 1 gigahertz. Before 1 gigahertz, it is quite good, well below minus 10 dB, which is a thumb rule, might be knowing to all of you. So this is how you can make the circuit. One more thing which I would like to let you know through this demonstration is that tuning. Let us say you would like to make it quite good in sense of your roll off rate. So just click on the tuning fork icon. A new tune parameter window will pop up. You have to just click on the capacitors and inductors which are there in your filter and check the box. Now your tuning window is ready to tune. Let us have your result in front of you. The result of your filter should be in front of you and tuning window is in front of you. Now you start changing the values. Minimum value, maximum value, you can always change those values. I will let you know how you can change these. Even you can change the step size in which you would like to change or you would like to tune these parameters. So C1 and C2, and this is inductor. So if I click on this arrow, you can see the response is changing. Okay. Even I change this, you can see the filter response is changing, and roll off is quite good. In this case, it is, you see, it is minus 19. Earlier it was minus 12. So this way you can always improve the response of your circuit. All right. So I just tried to tell you about how you can create a new workspace, how you can create a simple low pass filter inside the ADS, how to plot the results, how you can insert markers, and how tuning can be done inside the ADS. So this is what we have done and we have planned for first session. Now you can either make this filter during the break itself, or you can take a 5 minutes of quick refreshing break, and when we will come back we have a completely hands-on sessions. So you switch on your systems and be ready for hands-on sessions. We have just 5 minutes of a break. Thank you all of you.